Yesterday I showed this collision and you voted for who you thought was responsible, and you certainly had a lot of comments to go along with those votes. Here's how we'll go through it. We'll look at the poll results and I'll explain what happened after the vehicles moved away from the collision scene. I'll go over what I think will be the most likely outcome, along with what arguments the insurers will probably be using, and of course we'll end with a lovely jubbly. By far and large, the largest share of the votes was for the driver of the black Mercedes to be responsible. However, I do think his attitude post-collision probably contributed to that. After the collision and the verbal Barney at the side of the road, both drivers moved away and parked up in a car park. The driver of the black Mercedes donned a polishing towel and some polish and tried to rectify the damage to the camera vehicle. He then headed away from the scene without officially exchanging details, and it's believed that neither driver has made a claim for the incident. So what's the most likely outcome? Well, I think it would probably be settled on a 50-50 split liability basis. If the camera car driver hadn't increased their acceleration after recognising what the other driver was doing, then I probably wouldn't be saying that, but they did make a conscious decision to accelerate once they realised what the driver of the black Mercedes was doing. If they hadn't done that and the impact had still occurred, it would most likely have been the other driver's responsibility, because at the point of exit in the roundabout, the camera vehicle was predominantly ahead of the black Mercedes. But the camera car driver did make that conscious decision to accelerate after seeing the other driver try to pass them when they shouldn't have been. Now let's take a look at the roundabout itself. This isn't a relatively large roundabout, so why the white BMW and black Mercedes vehicles ahead of the camera vehicle were going straight to the second exit from lane 3 is beyond me. Approaching the roundabout, it's single lane, and at the entry to the roundabout it goes to 3 lanes, with lane 1 housing a bus stop. So I would say that the appropriate lane usage here would be the left-hand lane to turn left at the first exit, lane 2 to go straight to the second exit as the camera car driver did, and lane 3 where the black Mercedes and white BMW were on entry would be appropriate to turn right towards the third exit. However, regardless of them exiting from lane 3, their intentions were clearly obvious to the camera car driver. The camera car driver knew about it and accelerated in an attempt to prevent the black Mercedes driver from getting ahead, and that's why they'd probably share liability here. If I insure the camera car driver, my argument is that the other car was exiting from the incorrect lane, and if I insure the black Mercedes driver, my argument is that it was obvious what my driver was doing and that the camera car driver deliberately attempted to block them. I think if this liability dispute made it to a judge at county court, he'd probably slam the actions of both drivers because both drivers driving fell below the acceptable standard. Lovely jubbly, sound as a pound.